Okay, folks, we are back at it tonight. Tonight I'm going to be mixing up a Blackberry wine using Vintners Harvest Blackberry Puree. This is a 3-pound can. I've got my peach wine that I made last night sitting over there, also Vintners Harvest Puree, but you can see it's bubbling happily. So let me just show you what I've got here. I found a recipe. I hijacked this off of Midwest Brewer Supply website, Midwest Supplies, whatever it's called. So this is the base recipe that I used. However, I only have a quarter teaspoon measuring device. So to get a half teaspoon acid blend, I just said, I'm going to make it 3/4. So I did a quarter of each acid, malic, tantaric, and citric. So I did change that to 3/4, and then I need to add my nutrient. Don't let me forget my nutrient. I did do my nutrient. And it says 3/4 pounds of sugar, which is frustrating because I don't have a scale to measure with pounds. So I started off with 1.5 cups of sugar, and I'm going to get it all mixed up. I'm going to take a gravity and then see where it goes from there. Again, I'm not going to use the pectic enzyme because I don't really care about clarity, and I don't have any pectic enzyme. And this one specifically says no grape tannin. So I will put the final recipe that I've used in the comments of the video below in the description. But let me just show you how I've got it set up so far. I've got everything pre-set up, ready to go. RODI water. My wife has a filter installed on her house for her fish tank, so I just run straight out for RODI. Sorry, I got interrupted there. Okay, so I've got my water already ready. I split it half and half because when I dump the puree into the carboy, and I am mixing directly into carboy. A lot of people say, with wine, you should start with a primary fermenter, stir it for the first couple days, get it really good oxygenated. But I've had just fine luck just starting it all in the carboy, shaking the crap out of it, and it does just fine. So I split it half in two. I've got all my sugar here. I've got my acid blend and my nutrient in here. And then I've got my yeast already hydrating. I'm using a Lalvin 71B 1122. I really like this yeast. It turns out great. Leaves really good subtle flavors for everything that I've tried. So that being said, let's get her started. I've got my funnel set up here with a sieve on top just in case there's any chunks of blackberry. So let's pour it in. I poured in the peach puree last night, and then realized that there was a lot of solids, and I was like, well, I want those solids, I want this thing to be able to get all the flavor it can get. And so I actually ended up dumping out the screen, and I think I'm going to do that again because there's just an awful lot of volume there that I'd really like to be able to get. Unless my funnel's got an airlock. Nope, it really is just that sluggish. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to capture all that because I don't want to waste that. There's a lot of flavor in that, and it's gonna be fine. In the past, I made a strawberry wine recipe from Vintners Harvest, and it had chunks of whole strawberries, so it was not a puree. It was strawberries in sauce. See, I even lost a lot there already. But I want to be able to get all that puree because there's a lot of flavor in there. So let me get this cleaned out as best I can, and then I'll pick the video back up. Whew, that smells tart. Okay, so I wish I hadn't even used that sieve in the first place. That was silly. So I got my puree in. Gonna go ahead and pour my sugar in. And of course it's gonna plug my funnel off because my funnel was wet. I should have done my dry goods first, I guess. Maybe it won't plug it. Still chugging. It's still chugging. Come on, baby. Get it all. I guess I should have started with even less water because you can see my fluid volume pretty well already topped off here. So I got my sugar in, and here is my acid blend and my nutrient going in. And then we'll just give the funnel a good tap down there. Now, I'm going to stick a airlock in here, put my thumb over it, and shake the tar out of it. And then I'm going to, with as full as it already is, I don't really have much room to add any more water. So I'll go ahead and take a gravity reading, and then I'll add more sugar to see how I like the gravity. I'd like to get it to about a 10% alcohol at least if I could. That peach wine I made is only 5.5%, which the strawberry I made before was 14%, and it is delicious. And it'll get you buzzed. So let me make the gravity reading here and add some sugar. Alright, so I've got my setup here with my cylinder and my hydrometer inside, and I'm just using a glass thief here to take a small sample out of the jug. I actually sanitized all this really well so that I can actually reuse the sample. I really hate dumping it. And that's definitely something the pros never advise. Reusing your sampling fluid should always be discarded. But again, I'm not really worried on this about contamination, as long as I don't contaminate it with something that makes it sterile. If I contaminate it with something that makes it taste a little funny, I'm probably not going to know anyway, so, you know, I'm just going to roll with it. Alright, let's see what we got here on our gravity. I just got my hydrometer to float. So, it's looking pretty weak. Of course y'all can't see because there's debris on there, right? We are at about a 6% potential alcohol. So I'm going to add in another, let's add in just another half a cup of sugar and see what it does. Okay, so I made a silly rookie mistake, but I'm going to own up to it so you guys can't abuse me for it. I forgot to shake the jug to stir the sugar in the first measurement. So it was actually about 6.5% potential alcohol instead of just 5.5 or whatever I said I thought it was. And also, what I really should have done was boil the water and then put the sugar to dissolve it so I had a syrup, because then I wouldn't have had to worry about it dissolving at all. Now I'm not sure, you know, I might have still granulated sugar on the bottom, but I added another cup. So my total is 2.5 cups of sugar in there now, and I have a potential alcohol of about 9, maybe 9.25%. The line, I mean, you can see that there's the 5 right above the percent sign, and the 10 is just below the surface. So it's over 9, not quite 10. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to start with a 9.5% potential alcohol. I'm going to get this poured back in. Again, shake it really well. I'm going to let my yeast keep hydrating for a while. I'll take a little sample of the base to put in there with my yeast, just so it can kind of get you know, a little bit of acclimation to it. And then I'll pitch my yeast in, top it off with a little more water, throw the airlock on, and we'll be done. One other very important ingredient that I forgot to mention at the beginning is, of course, a glass of wine to drink while you're working. This is some of my wonderful strawberry wine, and I can't tell you enough times how wonderful it is, because it is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend, if you're making your own wine, if you haven't done a Vintners harvest, the strawberry cans of strawberries that they have, try it. It was a 3-gallon batch, so I used their big 6-pound can, I think it is, the big number 10 can. And I've been looking everywhere for the last like 2 months, and everyone is sold out of that. So either there was a strawberry blight, or it really is that popular. So just as soon as I can get my hands on another batch of that, I will make another 3-gallon batch of strawberry wine, because it was really good stuff. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Might make tack a little bit on the end. Hopefully tomorrow I pull this puppy out of the cabinet and it's bubbling happily. If it is, I'll let you know. Alright, well, here's our update on the Blackberry wine. We're about 24 hours later, and it's bubbling. Not nearly as vigorously as the peach. Even when I shake the bottle, it doesn't seem to... That's kind of the funny thing. I shake the bottle and it doesn't make any change. And it's also, you can tell, you know, the peach had pulp all the way up in here where it had really been active, and then it subsided. This one still is clean, so I don't think it ever really foamed up like that. But maybe that's just the difference between, you know, peach or blackberry. But it looks like it's cooking. You know, I'm not going to complain. I've had this happen before with different variations of things that I brewed. Some of them bubble like crazy, and some of them just bubble real slow and steady like this. So as long as it keeps bubbling steady, and it, you know, gets through the fermentation like it's supposed to, I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to let it ride. So, blackberry wine, and you know, we'll let it go until it's done bubbling, and then we'll bottle it up.